Du Jin's hands shook as he watched the screens. The massive alien ships appeared from nowhere, their dark shapes blocking out the stars above Earth. From his position in the Mars research base, he could only stare at the live feed in horror. "Sir, they're charging their weapons." A young technician's voice cracked with fear. Du Jin grabbed his phone, trying to call his wife, Hadian, again. No answer. She and their daughter, Jaya, were still in Seoul. The last time they talked, Jaya was excited about her science project at school. The first beam of light struck Earth's surface. The ocean near Australia boiled instantly. Du Jin's phone slipped from his fingers as more beams followed. Red lights flashed across the base as their sensors overloaded. "Everyone, record everything," Du Jin shouted to his team. As Earth's leading quantum physicist, he knew that every piece of data about these aliens could be important later, if there was a later. The attack lasted exactly 7 minutes. 7 minutes to destroy 12,000 years of human civilization. The aliens, who would later be known as the Varric, were thorough. They targeted every major city, every military base, and even the smaller towns. In the Mars base conference room, Du Jin sat with the other scientists and military personnel. Admiral Yoon stood at the front, her face gray with shock, but her voice steady. "Current estimates suggest we have about 50,000 humans off Earth," she said. "Space stations, lunar bases, and us here on Mars. We've lost contact with Earth completely." Du Jin barely heard her. In his mind, he kept seeing Jaya's smile from their last video call. She had shown him her model of an atom, made with colorful balls and sticks. "Look, Dad, the electrons spin just like you taught me." A hand touched his shoulder. It was his old friend Taowan, another physicist. "Du Jin, we need your help. The aliens left something in orbit around Earth. We're picking up strange energy readings." Du Jin looked at the new data on his tablet. The numbers made his eyes widen. The energy pattern was similar to something he'd seen in his quantum experiments. But that was impossible, unless... "They're watching to see if anyone survived," he said, standing up suddenly. "These readings, they're using quantum fields to detect any large gatherings of survivors." Admiral Yoon, he walked over to his screen. "Can we block it?" "Better," Du Jin said, his grief turning into fierce determination. "We can study it, learn how their technology works." He turned to the room. "They think they've won. They think humans are just another primitive species to wipe out. But they made 2 big mistakes." He pointed to the data streaming across his screen. "First, they left behind working examples of their technology to study. Second," his voice became hard as steel, "they left humans alive who know how to use it." The room was silent for a moment. Then To-Won spoke up. "The quantum transportation project we've been working on." "Yes," Du Jin nodded. "We'll need to speed it up. Admiral, I need every physicist and engineer we have. The aliens used quantum mechanics in ways we only dreamed of. But now..." He looked at Earth, still glowing red in places on the main screen. "Now we don't need to dream. We can see exactly how they did it." Admiral Yoon, he studied him for a moment, then nodded. "You have whatever you need. All of you, listen up. As of now, we are at war. We may have lost Earth, but humanity is not defeated. We will survive. We will rebuild, and we will make them pay." Du Jin looked one last time at the family photo on his phone. Hei-yun and Jaya smiled back at him, frozen in a happier time. He saved the photo to his private files, then started organizing research teams. The Varric thought they had ended humanity's rapid advancement by destroying Earth. Instead, they had just removed all the rules about testing dangerous technologies. Humanity had nothing left to lose, and everything to avenge. The war for Earth's revenge was about to begin. 3 weeks after Earth's destruction, Du Jin sat in his lab on Mars, studying the alien technology readings for the 20th time. His eyes were red from lack of sleep, and empty coffee cups littered his desk. "You need to rest," Taiwan said, walking into the lab with fresh coffee. "You won't help anyone if you collapse." "I found something," Du Jin said, ignoring the coffee. "Look at these energy patterns from the Varric ships. They're using quantum fields in a way that should be impossible." But a loud alarm cut him off. Red lights flashed through the base. "Unknown signal detected," the base AI announced. "Origin: Earth surface." Du Jin and Taiwan ran to the control room. Admiral Yoon, he was already there, watching the main screen with other officers. "It's a radio signal," a communications officer said. "Simple frequency." "Wait, it's in Korean." Du Jin's heart jumped as a scratchy voice came through the speakers. "To any humans in space, we are alive. This is Commander Jae-sung of the Korean Special Forces. We have survivors in underground bunkers. I repeat, we have survivors." The control room erupted in cheers. Admiral Yoon, he raised her hand for silence. "Can we respond?" "No," the officer said. "The Varric are still watching. If we send a signal, they'll find the survivors." "But we can listen," Du Jin said. He turned to Taiwan. "Remember our quantum communicator project? We need to finish it now." Over the next few hours, more signals came from Earth. There were survivors in deep bunkers all around the world. Military bases, research facilities, and civilian shelters that had been built deep enough had protected thousands. Then came the message that changed everything. "Attention human survivors." A strange voice boomed through every speaker in the base. The aliens were broadcasting on all frequencies. "Your primitive species has been eliminated, as was necessary. Your rapid technological advancement posed a future threat to galactic stability. Be grateful that some of you were spared to witness our victory." Du Jin watched the main screen as it showed images of Varric ships celebrating around their home world. Their arrogance made his blood boil. "Let me show you something," he said to Admiral Yoon-hee, leading her to his lab. On his computer, he pulled up his latest research. "We've been studying their quantum field technology, Taiwan, and I think we can use it to transport matter instantly across space." "Like teleportation?" the Admiral asked. "Exactly. But here's the important part. Their own shields can't detect it. We could send soldiers or weapons right into their ships." A new alarm sounded. On the lab screen, they watched a Varric patrol ship approaching Mars. "They're scanning for technology signatures," Taiwan said, checking the sensors. "They want to make sure we're not developing anything dangerous." Du Jin smiled for the first time in weeks. "Then let's give them nothing to find." He pressed a button, and all the quantum research data disappeared from the main systems. "It's safely stored in our hidden servers now. Let them think we're just scared survivors." The patrol ship scanned the Mars base thoroughly. Finding nothing interesting, it left. In the following days, Du Jin's team worked in secret, hidden labs built inside Mars' old mining tunnels. They made contact with other bases on the Moon and various space stations, sharing their findings through quantum channels the Varric couldn't detect. "We have 30,000 survivors in space," Admiral Yoon, he told them during a secret meeting, "and at least 50,000 confirmed alive on Earth. That's enough to start planning. The Varric think they killed our spirit when they destroyed Earth," Du Jin said, looking at his team. "But they don't understand humans. We don't need a planet to survive. We need a reason to fight." He pointed to the star map showing the Varric Empire. "And they just gave us the best reason of all." The human survivors looked at each other, determination in their eyes. The Varric celebration would be short-lived. Humanity wasn't just surviving, it was preparing for war. And this time, they had nothing left to lose. 2 months after Earth's destruction, a young engineer named Minna walked through the hidden tunnels of Mars base. She carried a tablet with designs that could change everything. At just 24, she was the youngest lead engineer in the Resistance, but her ideas about weapons systems had caught Du Jin's attention. She found Du Jin and Taiwan in the quantum lab, working on their transportation device. The machine hummed softly, giving off a blue light. "Dr. Du Jin," she said, trying to hide her excitement. "I think I solved the power problem." Du Jin looked up from his work, dark circles under his eyes. "Show me." Minna put her tablet on the table. "We've been trying to power the quantum transporter with our own generators. But look at these readings from the Varric ships. They use artificial gravity to create energy. We can copy that." Taiwan studied her designs. This could work, but we'd need Varric technology. Minna finished. "I know where to get it." She showed them another screen. The Varric leave their broken ships in space junkyards. They think the technology is too advanced for us to understand. 3 damaged ships are floating near Jupiter. Du Jin's eyes lit up. "And they won't notice if we take parts from already broken ships." He turned to the quantum transporter. "We can test the device by bringing those parts here." They worked through the night. Minna's energy system designs were perfect. By morning, they were ready for the first test. "Target locked on a small piece of Varric metal in the Jupiter junkyard," Taiwan said. Du Jin pressed the activation button. The machine hummed louder. Blue light filled the room. Then, with a soft pop, a piece of alien metal appeared on their test platform. The 3 scientists stared in silence. Then Minna jumped and clapped her hands. "It worked. We can transport anything, anywhere." "Not quite anything yet," Du Jin said, but he was smiling. "But this is just the start." Admiral Yoon called an emergency meeting when she heard the news. Leaders from other human bases attended through secret quantum channels. "The quantum transporter works," Du Jin told them. "Thanks to Minna's power system design, we can start bringing in more Varric technology to study." "And weapons?" someone asked. "Better," Minna said. She showed them her tablet. Their own technology turned against them. "Every piece we transport gives us more knowledge of how their ships work." Over the next few days, they transported more pieces from the Jupiter junkyard. Each part taught them something new. Minna's team worked on weapons designs, while Du Jin and Taiwan improved the transporter. Then they got an unexpected message from Earth. Commander Jae-sung's voice came through their quantum channel. "Mars base, are you there? We found something in our bunker. Something big." In the bunker's storage room, Jae-sung's team had discovered old research files about Varric technology. Years before the attack, Earth governments had been secretly studying a crashed Varric scout ship. That's why they attacked, Du Jin realized. They knew we were close to understanding their technology. But they didn't know how close, Minna added, reading the files. "These designs, they're exactly what we needed." Du Jin looked at the quantum transporter, then at his team. They thought destroying Earth would stop human progress. Instead, they pushed us to do in months what might have taken years. Admiral Yoon, he stepped forward. "How long until we can transport people?" "A few weeks," Minna said confidently. "Maybe less." "Good." The Admiral's eyes were hard. "Because it's time to show the Varric what humanity can really do." In their hidden lab on Mars, humans were about to take their first real step toward revenge. The Varric had no idea that their own discarded technology would be their downfall. The hidden advantage was about to become a visible threat. The control room of Mars base was silent as Du Jin checked the quantum transporter readings one final time. After 3 months of preparation, they were ready for their first attack against the Varric. "Target locked on the Varric command ship," Minna said from her station. Her fingers moved quickly over the controls. "Their shields are strong, but they can't detect our quantum signals." Admiral Yoon stood behind them, watching the main screen. A massive Varric ship floated in space near Saturn. It was twice the size of Earth's largest aircraft carrier. "Remember," Du Jin said to the strike team, "once we transport you inside, you'll have 10 minutes to plant the devices. The quantum field will bring you back automatically after that." The strike team consisted of 5 people. They wore special suits designed by Minna using Varick technology. Taiwan had added quantum shielding to hide them from alien sensors. "Ready," the team leader said. Du Jin looked at Admiral Yuni. She nodded. "Transport in 3, 2, 1. Blue light filled the room. The strike team vanished. For the next 10 minutes, everyone watched the screens showing the team's vital signs. Du Jin's hands were tight on the controls. If anything went wrong, they couldn't transport the team back early. 8 minutes. Minna counted. On the main screen, the Varick ship continued its patrol, unaware of the humans inside it. 5 minutes. Suddenly, one team member's heart rate spiked. Red warnings flashed on the screen. "They've been spotted," Minna shouted. Du Jin wanted to transport them back immediately, but he knew they had to wait. The devices had to be planted, or this would all be for nothing. 2 minutes. Gunfire showed up on the sensors. The team was fighting back. 1 minute. All devices planted. The team leader's voice came through, mixed with the sound of alien weapons. The 10 minutes ended. Blue light flashed again. The strike team appeared on the transport platform, all of them breathing hard but alive. "Now, Minna," Du Jin shouted. Minna pressed a button. On the main screen, small explosions started inside the Varick ship. But these weren't normal explosions. The devices they planted were filled with quantum particles programmed to disrupt Varick technology. The massive alien ship began to drift. Its lights flickered and died. Emergency signals flashed from its hull. "Their quantum core is failing," Minna said, reading the data. "Their whole command system is crashing." They watched as the Varick crew abandoned ship in small escape pods. The mighty command ship, pride of the Varick fleet, was dead in space. "Download everything," Du Jin ordered. Their quantum sensors copied all the data from the dying ship's computers. Cheers filled the control room. For the first time since Earth's destruction, humans had struck back. And they had won. But Du Jin wasn't celebrating yet. He was reading the downloaded data with growing interest. "Admiral," he called, "you need to see this." The data showed the Varick's biggest secret. Their entire fleet was controlled by central quantum computers. Each ship was connected to these computers. Without them, the ships couldn't function properly. "They're not as strong as they want us to think," Minna said, looking at the data. "They rely too much on their central control." "That's why they attacked Earth," Du Jin added. "They saw we were developing our own quantum technology. Technology that could break their control system." Admiral Yunhee smiled. It wasn't a friendly smile. "Then we'll give them exactly what they feared." "Minna, can you use this data to find their central computers?" "Yes," Minna said. "It will take time, but every ship we disable gives us more information." Du Jin looked at the dead Varick ship on the screen. The aliens had thought humans would be easy to defeat. They thought destroying Earth would break humanity's spirit. Instead, they had forced humanity to become stronger, more determined, and more dangerous than ever before. The first strike was successful, but it was only the beginning. The meeting room on Mars base was crowded with humans, and for the first time, aliens. Du Jin studied their new visitors with interest. They looked almost like tall, blue-skinned humans, but their eyes had 2 pupils each. Kai-Ho, their leader, stood at the front of the room. "We saw what you did to the Varick command ship," he said in perfect English, "thanks to their translation devices. Our people have fought the Varick for 100 years, but we never managed to disable one of their ships completely." Admiral Yunhee nodded. "And now you want to work together?" "Yes," Kai-Ho said. "There are many species who hate the Varick. They destroyed our worlds too, but left enough of us alive to serve as warnings to others." Minna raised her hand. "How did you find us?" "Our base is hidden." Kai-Ho smiled. "We've been watching Earth for years. When the Varick attacked, we thought humanity was finished. Then we detected your quantum technology. It's different from anything we've seen before." Taiwan brought up a screen showing their latest weapon designs. We combined our quantum research with stolen Varic technology. But we need more resources to build enough weapons. Resources we have, Kehoe said. He touched a device on his wrist, showing a map of hidden bases across the galaxy. What we need is your technology and your... He paused, looking for the right word, your human anger. Dojin understood. Other species fought the Varic out of necessity. Humans fought them with rage and determination born from watching Earth die. Over the next few hours, they made plans. Kehoe's people, the Neru, would provide materials and ships. Humans would share their quantum technology and lead the attacks. There's something else, Kehoe said near the end of the meeting. He looked at Dujin. We found data about special Varic research sites. They're studying human survivors they captured during the Earth attack. Dujin's heart stopped. Where? Kehoe showed a map of a distant space station. Here, they're fascinated by how quickly humans learn and adapt. There, he looked down, they're running tests. The room temperature seemed to drop. Every human there thought about their missing family members. How many prisoners? Admiral Yunhee asked, her voice hard. At least 300, Kehoe said, including many children. Dojin thought of his daughter Jia. Could she? He pushed the hope down. He had to focus. We'll attack the research station first, he said. Everyone looked at him. The Varic think they can study us like animals. Let's show them how dangerous Earth's animals can be. Minna was already working on her tablet. Their research station will have different defenses than their warships. But if we combine our quantum transport with the Neru's shield technology, we can get inside, Taiwan finished. And this time, we're not just planting devices. Kehoe watched them work with amazement. In just minutes, humans had turned his information into a battle plan. Now he understood why the Varic had tried so hard to destroy them. Admiral Yunhee stood. We attack in 3 days. Kehoe, can your ships be ready? 2 days, he said. My people are eager to fight alongside humans. As everyone left to prepare, Dujin stayed behind, looking at the station's location on the map. Somewhere in there, humans were suffering, waiting for rescue. Maybe even his own daughter. We're coming, he whispered. And this time, we're not alone. The alliance of humans and Neru was just the beginning. Across the galaxy, other species heard about the humans who had struck back against the Varic. Messages arrived daily from other resistance groups wanting to join. The Varic had tried to make humanity an example of their power. Instead, they had created a symbol of hope for every species they had ever hurt. And hope, combined with human determination, was about to become their worst nightmare. The combined fleet of human and Neru ships moved silently through space. Dujin stood on the bridge of the lead ship, watching the Varic research station grow larger on the main screen. Next to him, Kehoe checked their cloaking systems one last time. All ships report ready, Minna said from her control station. She had modified all their ships with quantum technology, making them invisible to Varic sensors. Remember, Dujin said to the rescue teams, we go in fast. The quantum transport will put each team exactly where they need to be. Find our people and get them out. Admiral Yunhee's voice came through the comm system. First wave, begin. Blue light flashed across all the ships as the quantum transporters activated. 20 rescue teams disappeared from their ships and reappeared inside the station. Dujin watched the station's power readings. Thanks to Minna's devices, the Varic systems were already failing. Their mighty research station was going dark, section by section. First teams reporting in, Taiwan said. They'd found the prison cells, starting evacuation now. On the screens, they could see their people moving through the station. The Varic guards, cut off from their central control system, couldn't stop them. Then Dujin heard something that made his heart skip a beat. Dad, is that you? The voice came through his personal comm unit, a voice he thought he'd never hear again. Jia. His hand shook as he pressed the comm button. Jia, where are you? Special research section, she said. Her voice was stronger than he remembered. Dad, they did something to us. To all the kids here. We're different now. Before Du Jin could ask what she meant, alarms blared through the station. On the main screen, they saw a massive Varric battleship appear. It's their home fleet flagship, Ki-ho shouted. They're powering weapons. But Jaya's voice was calm. Don't worry, Dad. Watch this. Through the station's cameras, they saw something incredible. Jia and a group of other children stood in a circle, their hands raised. Blue light, quantum energy, glowed around them. The massive Varric ship fired its main weapon, but the beam never reached the station. It stopped in space, caught in a quantum field generated by the children. The Varric didn't just study us, Jaya explained. They tried to understand how humans learn so quickly. They exposed us to quantum energy, trying to see how we would adapt. She smiled. We adapted very well. The Varric ship fired again. This time, Jia and the others caught the energy and sent it back. The mighty flagship's shields failed under its own weapon. All rescue teams reporting in, Taiwan announced. 312 humans recovered, including, he smiled at Du Jin, 27 quantum-enhanced children. Du Jin couldn't wait any longer. Bring them home, he ordered. Blue light filled the station one last time. All the rescue teams and freed prisoners appeared on the Allied ships. Du Jin ran to the transport room. Jaya stood there, taller than he remembered, her eyes glowing slightly with quantum energy. When she saw him, she was still his little girl, running into his arms. I knew you'd come, she said, hugging him tight. I'm so sorry, he whispered. I'm so sorry it took so long. Admiral Yoon, he entered the room, looking at the rescued children with amazement. The Varric wanted to understand human potential, she said. Now they'll wish they hadn't. Kai-ho nodded. This is the turning point. With these children's powers and our combined fleets, we can finally take the fight to the Varric homeworld. Du Jin held his daughter close, feeling her new strength. The Varric had tried to use human adaptability for their own purposes. Instead, they had given humanity the tools for their own destruction. The real war was about to begin. The war room on Mars base buzzed with activity. Du Jin watched as Jia and the other enhanced children demonstrated their powers to the Allied commanders. Small objects floated in quantum fields around them, moving with perfect control. The children can create quantum shields stronger than any Varric technology, Minna explained, showing data on the main screen. And they can sense quantum energy from light years away. We found their central control system, Jaya said. Her eyes glowed blue as she projected a map into the air. It's hidden inside their homeworld's moon. That's how they control their whole fleet. Admiral Yoon, he studied the map. The Varric have 5,000 ships protecting their homeworld. Even with our combined fleet and the children's powers, an attack would be suicide. Maybe not, Du Jin said. He looked at Taiwan. Show them what we found. Taiwan brought up images of their latest invention. We call it the quantum lock. When activated, it freezes ships in space-time. They can't move, fire weapons, or call for help. Kai-ho leaned forward. How many ships can it affect? With the children's help. Minna smiled. All of them. The plan came together quickly. The human Nehru fleet would attack the Varric homeworld from 3 directions. While their ships kept the Varric fleet busy, special teams would strike the moon base. One problem, Ki-ho said. The moon base has defenses we've never seen before. Getting inside will be almost impossible. Jaya stepped forward. Not for us. She gestured to the other enhanced children. We can feel the gaps in their quantum fields. We can get a team inside. Du Jin wanted to protest. These were children, his daughter, going into the most dangerous place in the galaxy. But he saw the determination in their eyes. The Varric had tried to turn them into weapons. Now that choice would destroy them. The attack began 3 days later. 1,000 Allied ships dropped out of quantum space around the Varric homeworld. The massive Varric fleet moved to meet them. Now, Admiral Yoon, he commanded. J.I. and the other children stood in a circle on the command ship. Blue energy flowed from their hands, spreading across space. The Varric fleet suddenly stopped moving. Quantum lock successful, Taiwan reported. 5,000 ships trapped. Du Jin watched as the transport team, led by Jia, disappeared in blue light. They would appear inside the moon base, right at the heart of Varric power. Minutes passed like hours. The Varric ships hung frozen in space, their crews helpless to act. On the planet below, alarm signals flashed across the surface. Then Jaya's voice came through. "We're in the control center. But Dad, there's something else here. Something bigger than just ship controls." Through her comm unit, they could see it. A massive quantum computer core pulsed with energy. "This controls everything," Jaya said. "Their whole civilization depends on quantum technology, not just their ships, their cities, their life support, everything." Dojin understood. The Varric hadn't just built an empire. They had made themselves completely dependent on the very technology they fear humans would master. "Can you shut it down?" Admiral Yoon asked. "We can do better," Jaya said. The other children moved into position around the core. "We can take control of it." The children's quantum powers flowed into the core. On screens across the Allied fleet, they watched as Varric ships began powering down. Cities on the planet went dark. Their mighty empire was falling to the very weapons they had created. "Message from the Varric leaders," Kehoe announced. They're surrendering." The war room erupted in cheers. But Du Jin kept watching his daughter through the video feed. She stood tall among the other children, no longer a victim, but a protector of humanity's future. The Varric had tried to prevent humanity from growing too powerful. Instead, they had forced humanity to become more powerful than they could have imagined. And now, the galaxy would never be the same. John walked into the small town. It was a place he had never been before. The streets were quiet and empty. A few old buildings lined the road. There was a general store with faded paint on the sign. John went inside the store. An elderly man stood behind the counter. He gave John a curious look. "Hello there, stranger," the old man said. "What brings you to our town?" "Just passing through," John replied. "Is there a place I could get a room for the night?" The old man rubbed his chin. "Well, there's the old Johnson house at the end of the road. It's been empty for years, but it has a few beds. You're welcome to stay there." "Thank you. I appreciate it," John said. The old man gave John directions. John walked to the end of the main road. There he saw a run-down 2-story house. The white paint was peeling. Some of the windows were broken. John climbed the creaky steps to the porch. He tried the door, and it opened with a groan. Inside, the air was musty. A thick layer of dust covered everything. Old photographs hung crookedly on the walls. John found a bedroom upstairs. He swept off the bed with his hand. A puff of dust swirled into the air. He laid his bag on the bed and looked out the window. The sun was setting, casting long shadows across the empty street. An odd feeling came over John, like someone was watching him. He quickly turned around, but no one was there. Just the creaky old house, settling in the evening chill. John shook off the eerie feeling and headed back downstairs to find something to eat before settling in for the night in the strange, quiet town.